One of the difficulties with asbestos-containing materials is that they can't be categorically identified simply by looking at them. Over the years, asbestos has been used in literally thousands of different materials and applications. Have a look at some of these popular products. Do they contain asbestos or don't they? Experience of the identifier, knowledge of the age of the materials, and advice from others can all help you decide whether something contains asbestos or not. In this section, we're looking at the formal process of identifying asbestos, from sampling technique to laboratory process. In the process of identifying asbestos, it's important that the sample sent to the laboratory should accurately represent the material to be tested. If there are variations in the suspect material, you may need to take more than one sample to be sure of accurate results. For example, you might want to know about the makeup of different walls of a building, where one is corrugated and the other shadow line. There could be a difference in surface finish. Some AC sheet has a bubble texture, while other types are smooth. Sheets in different areas may look different because of discoloration due to age or wear. Location can also be a factor. An older building may contain AC sheeting, while extensions or the surrounds of newly added windows or doors might have non-AC material. Before you take a sample of suspect material for testing, you'll need appropriate personal protective equipment. The selection and use of personal protective equipment, PPE, should always be based on a risk assessment as determined by a competent person. Surfaces onto which asbestos debris could fall should be protected with a sheet of impervious material, such as plastic, which can easily be cleaned by wet wiping or using a HEPA filter vacuum cleaner. First, make sure the area is clean before you take the sample. Try and find a sample site that already has some small damage, like an old screw hole. Take care to minimise the disturbance to the ACMs and any dust or debris that might be present. Prior to the collection of samples, the surface of the material to be sampled should be wet down with a spray bottle. Use a suitable hand tool, like non-serrated pliers, a Stanley knife or a chisel, to gently prise a small piece, around the size of a 20-cent coin, away from the suspect material. And place it immediately into a clip-lock bag or small sealable container. Label the sample so it can be identified later and distinguished from other samples. Ensure tools are wet wiped and decontaminated after the collection of a sample. All materials that are used for cleaning and decontamination must be correctly disposed of. The sample area should be left clean, with no evidence of debris from the sampling operation. Any sampling points should be sealed with tape or fillers to prevent the release of fibres. Then take a second sample from a different location and pack and label it separately. To be certain test results are reliable and consistent, the sample analysis should be undertaken at a National Association of Testing Authorities or NATA laboratory. NATA-approved laboratories are required to follow specific standards and methodologies and are regularly audited for compliance. There are good reasons for using the NATA laboratory. Accurate results mean you won't have to undertake expensive remediation for inaccurately reported asbestos. Conversely, you won't be putting people at health risk by having them exposed to unreported asbestos material. And any test results are fully defensible in a court of law should the occasion arise. Different laboratories will present their reports in different styles, but information which should be in the report includes the client's name, the location or address where the sample was taken, the date the sample was taken, and if possible, the date of analysis, how you identified the sample, a description of the sample, for example, insulation, fibrous cement sheet, the size of the sample, and the results of the analysis. The analysis of bulk samples is usually undertaken in commercial laboratories by polarized light microscopy, including dispersion staining techniques. There are 3 types of commercial asbestos which are typically found in building products. Sometimes abbreviations are used in the laboratory certificate to report these asbestos types. CH refers to chrysotile or white asbestos. A refers to amosite or brown asbestos. C describes crocidolite or blue asbestos. If there are multiple asbestos types in the sample, the laboratory report may include a combination of these letters. And the letters NAD mean no asbestos detected. In some instances, laboratory certificates may report results as unknown mineral fibre. An unknown mineral fibre result means the fibre in the sample shows most, but not all, of the optical properties of one of the commercial types of asbestos. This may be due to the fibre in the sample being affected by heat, chemicals, or adhering particles which have changed the theoretical optical properties of the fibre. Alternately, the fibre may be one of the non-commercial asbestos fibre types not commonly found in building products which the laboratory does not have NATA accreditation to identify. The fibre should be treated as an asbestos fibre until analysis by another technique, for example, X-ray diffraction or scanning electron microscopy, confirms the type of fibre. Results reported as hand-picked refer to the asbestos distributed unevenly in a large body of non-asbestos material. This may be due to the sample being contaminated or residual asbestos material being left behind following a poor removal job. Asbestos air sampling is undertaken by drawing a sample of air through a filter by a calibrated pump. The filter is analysed under a microscope by counting fibres according to a geometric criteria. It should be noted that this method errs on the side of caution, as it counts all fibres irrespective of whether they are asbestos or not. The report is expressed in 2 parts. 1. As fibres per 100 fields of view. A field is a known area of the filter which is examined for fibres. And 2. As fibres per millilitre of air. A normal background count could have up to 10 fibres per 100 fields. The current occupational exposure standard for asbestos in Australia is 0.1 fibres per millilitre of air.